I'm Megan Skidmore, and welcome to the Beyond the Shadow of Doubt. I'm a woman, daughter, sister, spouse, mother, life coach, and person of faith on a mission to normalize asking questions and allowing doubts on a faith journey and all aspects of life. Join me as I bring this traditionally taboo topic out of the shadows of shame and into the light. I firmly believe we normalize through more talking and engaging in discussion. More talking peels back, exposes, and erases the layers of shame associated with asking questions and allowing doubts. When we are more authentic about our journey, we are more powerful because shame has no power in the face of authenticity. If you come from a high demand background, it's possible you haven't taken the opportunity to thoughtfully consider your core values. Brené Brown said, living into our values means that we do more than profess our values. We practice them. We walk our talk. We are clear about what we believe and hold important, and we take care that our intentions, words, thoughts, and behaviors align with those beliefs, end quote. Identifying your core values is like thinking ahead of time. It reduces decision fatigue. It becomes your North Star, guiding you as you navigate new decisions or decisions you've come to realize that perhaps you didn't get to choose in the first place. Click the link in the show notes for my Determine Your Values guide. It will help you take the first steps to living a values-driven and aligned life by helping you identify what matters most to you. First Friday's free coaching, a confidential group to bring all the questions, vent frustrations, share fears, express doubts. Navigating a new and uncertain reality is hard enough. Let's remove the worry of judgment from others. In this group, I will help you help yourself so that you can be there for your child, family, loved ones, and for you too. Click the link in the show notes to sign up. You must complete the agreement. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Shadow of Doubt. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about differentiation. If you've caught some of my most recent episodes, I talked about undifferentiated faith. Today I want to shift and share a little bit about self-differentiation. So healthy relationships start first with our relationship with ourself. It's an energy that we have because we've created it. And this is a continuous, lifelong process. It is a vibration in our bodies that we can feel. That vibration sometimes matches with others. And when it does, you know it because you can feel it. And when it does not, the reverse is true. You can also feel it. We begin to know and embody that signature energy and then can take that into our relationships and invite others in or attract others in, or not, depending on what their energy vibration is at. And that is the beauty of knowing your energy footprint. It's kind of like going into the shoe store. Some shoes fit your footprint or shoe size, and there are many that do not. In my younger years, I used to be a size 8.5, but now I am a 9. And I will note that just because a pair of shoes is placed in the size 9 section does not automatically mean that it will fit my footprint. I still get to determine if it is too snug on the sides or on the tops, or if it cramps my toes, or if it rubs against my Achilles heel in a painful way. Healthier relationships allow for the energy footprints of both persons, or more if it's a group, to coexist, including all of the beliefs, choices, nuances, ways of being, even idiosyncrasies and so on that come with living authentically. Absent is the need to pretend to be someone other than who you are. Your energy, quote, speaks to you and will not lie when it is off, or in other words, when you are pretending, or if you are pretending. It shows up as physical or mental stress that impacts the quality of life in varying degrees, depending on the individual. And often we will literally make ourselves ill or sick when we live out of alignment with this energy. If my words are making you feel even some slight discomfort, that is your energy shifting, or, quote, speaking to you, telling you something. It's teaching you something. Give it your attention. What is it telling you? What words, thoughts, impressions, experiences, memories, people, places, situations, and so on are coming to mind? how would it feel to connect to this energy? It is in the connecting to this signature energy within that is yours alone that you can then safely and confidently begin unlocking your voice. Connecting with your inner wisdom, your inner voice, your intuition is part of the process of self-differentiation. Your inner voice is going to be whispering something unique to and for you, not necessarily the same as your spouse or a family member or loved one or friend. Carl Jung said differentiation means the development of differences, the separation of parts from a whole. Differentiation is healthy and needed in all relationships, whether it's one-on-one or perhaps an individual to a group, in a family system or in community relationships, including faith communities, maybe civic, maybe school or work communities. I believe self-differentiation is actually an extension of free agency or free will and personal revelation, sometimes referred to as your intuition, your inner wisdom. This comes from the differentiation of self in Bowen family systems theory. Okay. He said differentiation of self is a fundamental concept in Bowen's family systems theory. In Bowen theory, families are conceptualized as emotional units. And individual functioning is thought to be best understood in the context of relationship processes within nuclear and multi-generational family systems. Bowen recognized that human behavior is influenced and shaped by this fundamental need for both autonomy / self-determination and connection in relationships. And so he looks at this through the lens of along a continuum of health in terms of the differentiation of self. I experienced this personally earlier this year when I started feeling impressed to have certain, or at least invite certain guests on my podcast. And part of how I was able to follow through with this is through a self-differentiation process. I don't think I knew it at the time. I had to let go or leave behind that others might think certain things or what others might think about me, about the podcast, etc., based on who the guests were. And I decided that wasn't where I wanted to spend my energy. People are going to think thoughts, period. Regardless of what I do as a podcaster or what anybody else who is a podcaster does. And because I don't truly know what those are, and nor do they matter or should they matter, I wanted to act from a place of integrity, a place that felt aligned for me, knowing that this energy would attract those who wanted and needed to hear and listen to these particular messages or from these particular individuals, regardless of where they were on their faith journey. So it became way less about creating some things that I thought people would want to listen to, and much more about listening to what my intuition was telling me, to amplify voices of those that were hurt or perhaps felt pushed out or left behind, or just their journey looked differently than mine. I decided all stories mattered, and I felt compelled to listen to, validate, and share them. Nayland McBain wrote Women at Church 10 years later as a guest post of Wayfair magazine, and it was published September 24th of 2024. And she said, "For my entire life, my church membership has been only one of several pillars that has shaped my choices and sense of self. I've differentiated myself from my church membership in consistent and important ways. It's allowed me to choose faith, to choose what kind of member I want to be, and for that, I am extraordinarily grateful." In contrast, LDS women generally are coming out of generations of expectations that have consciously and subconsciously stripped us collectively of those self-actualizing and differentiating skills. My dearest hope is for Latter-day Saint women to be given the structural and emotional support to actualize themselves fully outside of any prescribed roles. Self-differentiation is important to me for lots of reasons. One important reason, because of how it has benefited my mental health. I've been able to step out of this feeling of feeling trapped or boxed in or in a corner maybe, or a caged feeling, as I have stepped into alignment with that energy within. my intuition, that inner voice and knowing, and then acknowledged it and began to act on it. It's a process and it doesn't happen overnight. It's still in process. I see self-differentiation as the road less traveled. Most want or maybe seek to blend in, whether conscious of that or not. It's an innate human response. Perhaps there's a message that we've attached to it, like we want to blend in, or it means you fit in, or that you belong. And this is really high on the priority list. We have a hard time taking this road less traveled because we are tribal or communal by nature. We're born that way. We don't like being alone or feeling alone. It feels uncomfortable to share things or thoughts or ideas or decisions that are different than the group. The risk of losing this feeling of belonging can be too high. And to self-differentiate may feel like that, especially at first. Sometimes we might even tie our identity or the point that we're at in our journey, faith or otherwise, to those that are close to us. And when we see them at different points than us, it can bring up feelings of discomfort. Or maybe to us, it emphasizes that we're in different places, and it could increase that feeling of alone or feeling that we no longer belong. To choose the road less traveled takes emotional resilience or the ability to recover, bounce back, be flexible or adaptable in the face of whatever comes up. From thebowencenter.org, he says, a person with a well-differentiated self recognizes his realistic dependence on others, but he can stay calm and clear-headed enough in the face of conflict, criticism, and rejection to distinguish thinking rooted in a careful assessment of the facts from thinking clouded by emotionality. Self-differentiation is required to set healthy boundaries. It's required to be a trailblazer and critical thinker. None of these could happen without self-differentiation, and all of these are essential ingredients in change, progress, advancement, improvement, movement in general. If what I have shared today resonates with you, I would love for you to share this with a friend or a loved one. Additionally, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. All of these things really help the podcast grow. Thank you so much for spending your time with me here today. Until next time. Beyond the Shadow of Doubt podcast is a proud member of the Dialogue Podcast Network, which is part of the Dialogue Journal found at dialoguejournal.com. Founder Eugene England was a Mormon writer, teacher, and scholar who wrote, "My faith encourages my curiosity and awe. It thrusts me out into relationship with all creation and encourages me to enter into dialogue. My hope is that this podcast is an extension of that vision." Story mapping is a key component of my signature program, Life Outside the Binary. When you experience an awakening and see for yourself that the world is not all black and white, you get to choose which of your long-held stories align and live outside the ones that don't. Have you hit a wall and simply cannot figure out what to do to move past, or feel stuck and unsure of what your next move is or how to find it? Did you know the real challenge isn't the wall or the feeling stuck, but rather the story you have written and are living in about yourself and about the wall and about the feeling of stuckness? What you tell yourself about your value, character, abilities, and power to work through and move past problems, concerns, walls, or feeling stuck could be what is really in the way. The thing is, most of us can't see these stories for ourselves. That's where I come in. I invite you to join me for a story mapping session. You will gain more than insight, clarity, and at least one tool you can start using today. You'll remember or learn for the first time how to breathe again. You will start to feel a glimmer of hope and sense possibilities. You'll start to see where your stories end and you begin. Nothing is off limits in our 75-minute intensive. The link is in the show notes. Hopeful Spaces is a Dallas Hope Charities component of Hopeful Discussions, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA. It's a free monthly parent, ally, or caregiver support group facilitated by Megan Skidmore Coaching. Email chc@dallashopecharities.org for more info. Visit meganskidmorecoaching.com to find this podcast and additional free resources, including the link for a complimentary coaching session. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram for more, or to send me a DM. Help the podcast grow. Please follow, review, and share with a friend.